One of the things that Homer and Remington learned from being illustrators was this kind of opportunity to cast and recast figural groups in different compositions. And one of the great things about this was that we're able to take a look at this wonderful painting from 1882 again, Two Figures by the Sea, and think about the way that Homer used and reinvented this subject of two female figures searching out into the ocean for the hope of a sign of the return of loved ones, and really kind of reuse that theme over and over again. In some cases, he reused the exact same figure groupings. Sometimes he reused the landscapes themselves. And even in an image that's slightly different, we have the wonderful print, Perils of the Sea, was made just a few years later in 1886. And this particular print is very similar again in its subject matter to Two Figures by the Sea. So we can see how they were really kind of casting, reworking these similar ideas in different compositions as they're exploring this theme of man versus nature in their work. Along that theme of man versus nature in Homer's work, Remington is a master at the same subject. And probably the best example on this wall is this great painting that was made in 1909, The Luckless Hunter. So we get to see the way that he set his character against the same kind of forbidding landscape that we see in Two Figures by the Sea, where we see the angry sea as our foe. And in this case, we see the bitter cold and night as the real protagonist in this particular painting. The other thing that's really wonderful about this opportunity to have the Homer painting here with our Remington works is to really see the way these two artists were painting and how they used paint. And when you look at them really closely, you start to see how thinly applied certain areas of the paint surface are, whereas they also use a very beautiful thick impastoed paint. Homer in the wonderful waves on the ocean, Remington here in the beautiful snow that we capture in the foreground. So there's this much more thick application of paint that defines those areas of snow. So this show is a beautiful opportunity to really kind of compare not just the subject matter and the way that they work, but really their painting styles and techniques.